All right, we are live. Hi, everybody. We're a little
Hello.
late. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. As Lisa on the there, and my friend Carrie Leary, and we all belong to the Phoenix Metro Chamber of Commerce. Well, welcome to the Wendy Show.
Yay.
Have to start with kazoo. I have some new kazoos. The newest one I left in the other room, but I have some. I don't know where the other ones are. I have lots of pretty colors, so we can have new kazoo stuff every time. We can switch off. So, Carrie Leary is an interesting lady, and she handles my printing these days. And I have these beautiful cards, and I know it's backwards, but it was designed by Jen Wolfe, who also does my website. Oh, this is a different
There
camera.
you go.
There we go. And Sueño's on my shoulder there. You can't see real well here. But Carrie has those at Schuster Printing, and she gets them printed for me. And so I don't have to, looks like I'm frozen. There we go. I don't have to work real hard. I just send an email and then bring a check.
How we like it.
That's how we like it. Now, Carrie is an interesting lady. She had something else that she was doing before the printing. And you want to tell us, and you told me that it's what got you into printing. So tell us what it is.
Well, that's not. It's two separate things.
Okay.
It's an interesting story that got me into printing.
All right.
My nonprofit, which is Conscious Change, is like a completely separate entity, and that's unfortunately something I haven't been able to spend a lot of time doing lately. It used to take up a lot of my time, and hopefully I'll get some more time to spend back to it again. But what Conscious Change is it's a nonprofit I started because I'm heavily involved in the nonprofit community. I used to be a missionary doing mission work, traveling all over. And as you know, you don't get paid for that. So I had to come up with some way to earn some money. And my late husband, he used to call me the floundering philanthropist.
Whoa.
So
try saying that 3 times quickly.
Right? I was going to get a business card that said that, but then I'd have to explain it all the time.
Well, that gives people permission to talk to you. Then you can talk to them.
That's true.
Hey, that's why I put a label on my back. Everybody mentions it, right?
That's right. That's true. So he kind of brought that up one day, and he says, I need you to figure out a way to start funding all your charity work because it's having us go broke. Our bills aren't getting paid because you're paying for everything else. So I started Conscious Change. And what that is when we would go on all of our mission work, we would do photography, take photographs. And when we came back, we would have a photo show, usually down at First Friday. We always had a house down at First Friday back in the day when you could, downtown Phoenix. Mm-hmm. And we would have a show and we'd sell all of our photography. And then it kind of led into apparel. So I have a whole apparel line. I brought a couple here. I'll show you.
Wow.
So I have
we don't know.
Cute t-shirts.
Uh-huh. Oh, I love the elephant. Yeah.
And then this one is like men's shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all just reminders of living life consciously, that everything you do every day, every decision that you make affects somebody, affects something, you know. So just try and live consciously of what you're doing. And so apparel line, photography, and other fun creative stuff that I could have that would help raise money. So now, since I haven't been doing my mission work, what I do is when I sell product, then it all goes to the nonprofits that we're supporting.
Okay, with the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So in case people don't know, Phoenix Metro Chamber also has a foundation. We support 40 or more charities, which include veterans, children in need or special needs, and pets. We have a pet adoption coming up in the fall, I believe, and they were very, very successful with that. So just to let everybody know. Okay, go on with your story, please.
So yeah, so that's what conscious change is. It was just a foundation that I started, a nonprofit that I started to try and raise funds to help support my charity habit.
That's a good addiction to have. As
Yeah.
long as you temper it, yeah.
And the other story I was going to tell you was how I got into printing. That's a really interesting story. Back in 1990, my husband was a pressman at a printing company, just running a offset press. And we had 3 small children at home. So I just was working part-time at Taco Bell and being mom. And one day he was coming home from work, and he got into a motorcycle accident and broke his neck, messed up his back. So he was really messed up. So he was in a halo, so he was in full traction. And so he needed 24-hour care. So obviously he couldn't work. And after 3 months of being out of work, the owner of the company came to us at home and said, look, I know you need an income. So if Carrie will come and sit at your press and be your hands and you tell her what to do, then I'll pay her your salary.
Whoa.
So I did that for a year until he was released to go back to work. So I literally started on the ground floor of printing and then worked my way up to management and then worked my way into ownership. So there's nothing in a printing company that I don't know how to do or run, and the way technology is changing, it's just crazy right now. But I started way back in the day when we actually had film and Ruby Lith and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, who knew? This is why I like to interview people. We're finding out the nitty gritty, sometimes the dirt. Well, we found out some stuff on Lisa. I interviewed her. But it's what we don't know about our people's lives because we don't have the time or we don't make the time. I am making the time, and it's such a privilege to have you. How old are your children now?
They are, gosh, let me think about this. My one daughter, see, this is 2020, 35, 33, and almost 31. Mm-hmm. And then I have 6 grandchildren on top of that.
Oh, well, I know you travel a lot. I see all those pictures on Facebook.
Yes.
And I just do the birds and Layla.
That's definitely my passion and my nemesis is traveling, because I get very stir crazy very easily. And I'm like, I got to get out of town. I got to do something. But I do quick fixes. Like next week, I'm going with my mom, and every year we go to Vegas. It's the $1 million bingo tournament.
Oh boy, I don't even know what that looks like. Do you have tons of cards and you do all of them?
It's crazy. But the minimum hand is $10,000. The biggest hands are $100,000, and one bingo hand. So
those are prizes, right? Those are prizes.
No,
those are the prize amounts.
Yes, those are the prize amounts.
Okay. Wow.
So it's crazy amount of money, but it's something fun. I try and go do bingo with my mom once a month, and this is our yearly July Vegas trip. So I can do little fixes like that just as well to keep me sane.
Yeah, well, you sound like me. You got to keep busy.
Correct.
For me, it's writing the music and doing the energy healing, and I went to 4 things yesterday. Starting at 8 o'clock. Well, that was actually an additional meeting with somebody, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And I just came back from a really nice trip with my boyfriend in Ohio. And I didn't know how I would like Ohio because I've never been before, but I absolutely fell in love with it. He's way on farm country, so it was really nice. So it's a completely different way of living.
Does he live there?
He does. He's here part-time, there part-time.
I see. I was going to ask how you met him.
Yeah, right. You haven't met, that's why. Best of both. But it's just the cornfields and the trains and the rivers, and it was just beautiful. Just beautiful. A little different than the brown we got here.
Yeah, well, every state has its charms.
Correct.
Not you probably wouldn't be so happy there in the winter.
No, 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 no. That's why he comes here in the winter.
Got it. So what does he do?
He is has a welding company, so he does welding.
I see.
And then dog training, actually, for gun dogs for hunting
Oh, okay.
and obedience. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I know one of our charities is a service dog fund, and I adapted one of my songs thanking the veterans to include the service dogs, and I did it at her at their they had a
They're fundraising. Yeah.
At Italian American Fund or American Italian
American Flying Club.
Yeah.
I'm a member of that. So yeah.
That was very nice. So that we do have something like that. And it was really interesting because I didn't know anything about training dogs. I'm not real good at training birds. They train me.
I think birds are harder than dogs.
I think with all of them, because I don't know if you've ever gone to SeaWorld where they have this show of all the animals. They find out what they like to do and they promote that. So you had cats doing stuff, you had little piggy doing stuff, and the dogs, they had some macaws, some of the birds. But I was fascinated. I grew up with cats. They never did what you said.
Right.
But you find out that's the trick, and they were all rescue. Find out what they like to do. The same thing with the parrots. When you see a parrot show, what do they like? And you just train them to do that. Keep them a little bit hungry, and then give them a reward. I might have to do that to shut mine up because when the two blue-headed pianists get going, it's like the shower scene in Psycho. It literally sounds like that. So it's interesting. But training, I think dogs are easier to train than probably any other animal except maybe a horse. And I don't really know anything about that, but
he does that too. But I enjoy doing the dog training.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my job is to love on the dogs, and sometimes he gets them as puppies. He'll get them as a puppy, and then they stay with him for a couple months and raises them up for that. And so I'm excited for that. And I guess get to play with them and feed them.
Yeah, that's got to be fun. I was never a dog person, but that I appreciate what dogs can do, and other animals can do them too. Some of the therapy work. I remember at North Phoenix Chamber we had an event, and somebody brought, I think it was North Phoenix Chamber, somebody brought their therapy macaw.
Oh, wow.
On a stand that rolled, and that was really interesting because birds can be extremely loving. Yeah, but while you have to still be a little careful.
Right.
Yeah, they're not feathered dogs, feathered cats, feathered people. They're not feathered anything. They are themselves, and each species is different. And I've had a few.
I haven't had experience with birds, just a little bit, but
dogs like to catch them. That's why cats. That's why I don't have any of those in my house. Birds prefer not to be lunch. At least my don't. What else do you do for fun?
For fun, I do rock climbing.
Oh, okay.
A lot of hiking, any outside activities. What else do I like to do? There's so much, you know. My husband passed away 6 years ago, and we always knew he would pass early because he had sick as a child, and so he had issues. And so we lived a very adventurous life and had a bucket list of stuff that we did. So people always say to me, you know, well, what's your bucket list? I'm like, kind of lived my bucket list. You know, there's very few things I haven't done.
Mm-hmm. What was your favorite thing that you did together?
Honestly, I mean, people ask me that a lot, you know, all your travels and everything, what's your favorite thing? And my favorite thing is definitely living and working with the people in Peru. The most, it's the most unglamorous thing, but the people there are wonderful. And I just like being in the middle of nothingness and just really being with people. And that's probably my favorite thing. I mean, airplane, been in Mustang airplanes. We did photography for the Reno air shows. We've done tons of traveled. I've traveled all over the place. But yeah, I think just being with real people to me is the most important thing, and that was always had the most impact on me. And being with my kids, of course. But
Yeah.
funny enough, my kids didn't like doing any of that with me. It's really funny.
Do you speak Spanish?
I do very little.
Oh, okay.
And it depends where we are. So that was one thing. You go to Mexico here, and it's a completely different dialect.
Yes.
One time I went from Ecuador to Peru to Buenos Aires, and all three are different dialects.
Yes.
And so just trying to keep up with that, I just keep a little. At the time, our phones didn't have translators on them. Now you can just have your phone with you and kind of talk into it and go like this. But I think I liked it better that way because it made you converse with people. It made you talk with them and get that dialect going. And usually they spoke a lot better English than they let on.
A lot of people do that. I remember when I went in fact, it was right around the moon landing. I saw it in Mexico at the family I was living at, and it was on a black and white TV in their place.
Wow.
And of course, they had Spanish, but they also broadcast the English broadcaster. So I knew enough, and that's where I saw it. But I was living at this house, and my Spanish was okay. I talked around a lot of stuff, and everybody laughed. But I learned to get my point across. If I couldn't think of the word, I acted it out with the words in the. So I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. But the Mexican dialect was what I learned. And Barcelona is different from Madrid, and they're all different.
Yep. Yeah, and it's not like being in the United States where you have like Southern. It's not an accent; it's a complete dialect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just enjoyed doing all that,
And the people probably really appreciated your presence.
I think when you do things like that, I feel like I got more out of it than they did. That was definitely something that we would teach our teams. I would take teams with us, and which is wonderful. But when you go, you're going to change the world. You're going to make a difference with these people. You want to teach them how to live, how to grow their own food, how to clean water, all that good stuff. And when you get there, you realize that even though they're lacking these things, they're not unhappy.
Right.
They're happy people, and it's a real hard. It's real hard to come back from that, the decompression period, and wanting to and really realizing what you have here. It's difficult for a lot of people. I couldn't. The very first time I went, I couldn't go in a grocery store for about 3 months because I would just get nauseous being in the store because all that could go through my head was like gluttony. I'm like, this one chicken that these people had would last a week. So it took me a really long time to get back in the groove of life here and understand how. And really, we're very lucky to live here.
Now, the people you worked with, were they natives, or they were the natives? Were they only natives, or were they a mixture?
No, they were 100%. The areas like in Peru that we worked with were in the garbage dumps. So the people there was 5 generations of families living out there. And after several years of us being there, we ended up building a learning center and a daycare. So one of the kids that we kept in contact with over the years, when he was 13, he was actually able to get a job in a shoe factory. And he was the first one in his whole family to ever have a job outside of living outside of the dumps. So what they did in the dumps is they collect all the recyclables.
Right.
And so he was the first one to do that. And here you're thinking, oh my gosh, 13 and working in a shoe factory. But there, it's a huge opportunity. And he was able to break that cycle and get out and get enough money to get his family out. And So yeah, no, it was definitely all natives. And the same thing in Haiti. The places we would go, there's really no way in or out, unless you're flying. So there are people there were definitely all natives. And just wonderful people. Just wonderful.
Were they Catholic or did they have their own religion?
In Peru is mostly Catholic, and the churches we worked with there were like Christian church, but we did it where you didn't have to belong. It wasn't through the church, And in Haiti, we worked with a Christian-based church, but the main religion in Haiti is actually voodoo, and that's where you run into a lot of difficulties.
Resistance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't want your help, or because it's just not it's not in their nature to accept help.
Mm-hmm.
And very much like the caste system in India, the voodoo system is very much the same way. And it'd be interesting. I remember one night we were in Haiti, and we were sleeping under this big mango tree, and there's literally chickens running around, and we're on the dirt, and all I could hear was like the drums from the voodoo ceremonies going on at night, and it wasn't scary. It was just surreal. And I'm very strong in my faith and feel very protective. So I never, like I said, I wasn't afraid, but it's just an awesome feeling. But it was very prominent there, very prominent.
Interesting. I don't think we know enough about that. Now, I neglected to ask you, where were you born? Where'd you come from? How'd you get to Phoenix?
I was born in Tucson, so it was just a short little hop.
Okay. So you're a local.
I am. I was born in Tucson, and then I actually moved to California when I was 3, I believe. My roots have always been in Arizona, but I've lived in, California, Texas, Canada, lived all over because of my mom's type of work. She would go somewhere, be there 2 to 3 years, then we move on to the next place. But my father, they were divorced. My father is always here. So my roots were always here, and I'd always come home to Phoenix.
So Phoenix is home. Yeah.
Well,
you keep coming back. You keep turning up.
Right.
Keep seeing you from time to time. I think because I have to leave, I have another appointment. But so I didn't interrupt in the middle with a shtick. The birds are quiet, so we didn't have to worry about them. But this was fascinating. And I probably wouldn't have had this conversation with you in any other form, certainly not at chamber meeting.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Well, this is going to YouTube, and I actually figured out how to find them. As Lisa knows, I am not techie. But we'll have this, and I'll share it with you. So this is great, but I'm going to finish my last part, because that's why I always start out with the kazoo until I change the song. This has been a ball right from the start. I'm glad you all are here to take part. Fun to use kazoo. I don't need drum and fife. Wish a joyous melody in your heart and harmony in your life. Thank you so much. Thanks, Lisa, for facilitating this, getting the techie stuff resolved. And thank you, Carrie, for your patience and showing up in the fabulous way you did. I appreciate that. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Wendy. Thanks, Carrie. That was really fun to listen to.
Thank you.